Today, we're traveling back in time a bit to deconstruct an absolute titan of the fragrance world. We're going to break down the scent profile, the performance, and the overall value of the 1960s legend itself, Brut Original. We're getting right to the bottom of what makes this iconic green bottle tick.
Right off the bat, we gotta ask the elephant in the room. Is a scent from the 1960s actually still wearable today? I mean, can it compete with the modern stuff sitting on department store shelves right now? Or is it strictly just a nostalgia piece? Well, let's find out.
Here is how we're breaking it down today. We'll cover its vintage barbershop roots, unpack the actual fragrance profile, test out its projection, sillage, and longevity, figure out the best times to wear it, and then deliver our data-driven final verdict.
Section 1, a vintage barbershop classic. So Brut hit the scene in the 1960s, and it's classified as an aromatic fougere. If you've been around the fragrance community for a minute, you know that means it's basically a green, fern-like, and highly herbal scent. It's the absolute blueprint for that unapologetically masculine barbershop DNA. But here's the catch. Because of those 1960s origins, it faces a pretty real hurdle today. It has a massively loyal following, sure, but it can definitely feel a bit dated to younger, modern noses.
Moving to Section 2, unpacking the fragrance profile. Let's actually break down what happens when you spray this stuff, because a fragrance is a journey, not just one smell. Right away in the opening, you get this super bright hit of citrus from bergamot and lemon, smoothed out with some lavender, and a really distinct punch of anise. Think sort of like black licorice. Give it a few minutes to transition, and it moves into this floral, spicy heart with geranium and jasmine, and then hours later, the base settles in. This is where Brut gets its warm, earthy dry down from oak moss, patchouli, sandalwood, musk, and just a tiny whisper of vanilla. When you blend all those notes together, the whole vibe you're projecting is incredibly fresh, green, and herbal. It is literally the definition of a clean, soapy, vintage barbershop experience. You get a little spice in there, but it always melts perfectly into that comforting, mossy, and woody finish. Honestly, it just smells like a guy who just walked out of a high-end barbershop with a fresh cut and a hot towel shave.
Section 3, projection, sillage, and longevity.
Okay, before we throw a bunch of numbers at you, let's talk sillage. That's the scent trail you leave in the air when you walk by. Think of it like the invisible wake of a boat. Brut actually scores a very solid 6 out of 10 here. It leaves a really pleasant, polite trail behind you, but it's not going to choke out everyone else in the room, which is a huge plus. As for projection, which is how far the scent physically pushes off your skin, we're looking at a moderate 6.5 out of 10. For the first hour or two, it projects really nicely, and then it kind of tucks in and sits a lot closer to the skin. And then, of course, there's the longevity. I really want to highlight this number, 6 to 8. That's the number of hours you can realistically expect to get from the eau de toilette formulation. Look, this is a highly budget-friendly fragrance. To get a scent at this price point that can survive a full workday is actually wild. Now, actually, scratch that if you're using the aftershave version, because the aftershave is only going to give you about 2 to 4 hours. But that EDT, 6 to 8 hours, is rock solid.
Section 4, best seasons and occasions.
So, when should you actually pull this off the shelf? Thanks to those spicy and mossy notes in the dry down, it is an absolute killer choice for autumn, spring, and those milder winter days. The green, herbal stuff really shines in the spring, and the woods work great in crisp autumn air. You can pull it off in the summer for sure, but seriously, go easy on the trigger. In high heat, those heavy base notes can get real cloying real fast. For occasions, this thing is a total workhorse. Because it's so clean and inoffensive, it's basically perfect for the office. Remember that moderate projection we talked about? Yeah, no HR complaints here. It's great for casual daytime wear, running your everyday errands, or just splashing on right out of the shower to extend that freshly clean feeling. And obviously, if you rock a vintage aesthetic, this is basically the ultimate accessory to finish the look.
Section 5, the final verdict.
Ultimately, you have to know your own taste to know if Brut is right for you. If you're someone who gravitates toward the old school, classic heavyweights, like Azzaro Pour Homme or the mossy vibe of Drakkar Noir, you are going to be right at home with Brut. But listen, if your collection is nothing but Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, and those ultra-modern shower gel fresh blue fragrances, Brut is probably going to feel entirely too traditional for your style. Let's be totally objective about the trade-offs here. On the pros side, you're getting insane value for your money, a completely timeless aura, and an iconic classic that's incredibly easy to wear every single day. On the con side, well, it will definitely smell old-fashioned to some people. The performance is just average compared to today's modern beasts, and honestly, some noses find that initial blast of citrus and lavender to be just a little sharp or synthetic before it settles down.
So, bringing it all together, Brut lands a very respectable 8 out of 10 for the scent itself and an 8 out of 10 overall. But the real kicker here is the value metric. That overall score is carried heavily by a massive 9.5 out of 10 for value for money. You are literally buying a huge piece of fragrance history with workday level longevity for an absolute fraction of what a modern designer scent costs.
All right, so armed with all this info on its rich aromatic profile, its highly respectable projection, and that crazy undeniable value, I'll leave you with this to chew on for your next pickup. Are you ready to embrace an unapologetically masculine barbershop classic? Or are you perfectly content sticking to the modern blues? The choice is entirely yours.